Hello guys and gals and welcome. Today I want to go over with you my North Star Smiter. The North Star Smiter is a special build that I made up recently, and I've been having a lot of fun with my North Star Smiter. And so what I'd like to do today is just kind of go over the build with you guys and talk about why I've chosen specific things, how he works, and what his purpose is, and maybe even, why he's called the North Star Smiter. I'm also going to be adding him in to my item pack if you'd like to re-download the item pack and get your hands on him. As well as I'm going to also be adding in my level 99 Frostbite Ice Maiden Amazon. So the first thing we're going to do is go over his equipment, and I'm going to talk about each piece of gear and why I chose those pieces of equipment. First off is the Astrion's Iron Ward Caduceus. I put a Zod in it just simply so that it wouldn't break. I do enjoy not having to run to town and repair my weapon every 5 minutes. The Caduceus, the Astrion's Iron Ward Caduceus, is literally one of the best smiter weapons in the game for PvE, not for PvP. Grief does beat it in PvP. However, the Astrion's does beat Grief by about a half a second. It's pretty sweet weapon. But what Astrion's Iron Ward has that Grief does not is the +4 combat skills. That is the real beauty. It also has 33% crushing blow, which makes it a lot easier to hit an acceptable level of crushing blow for a smiter. This weapon is primarily a smiter weapon, but it also does double duty as a Fist of the Heavens weapon for this particular build. I'm also using a G-Face and a very nice coronet. Now, my G-Face is a very nice helmet. It has 35% crushing blow, and with the 35% crushing blow on G-Face, I am up to a very respectable 93% CB with 25% open wounds. However, with the Paladin Circlet, instead, I am sitting at more plus to skills, of course, which is a very nice thing. And that gives me some insanely high level skill levels, like level 45 Holy Shield, level 45 Fist of the Heavens, level 33 Fanaticism, and so forth and so on. This insane plus to skills is what gives me pretty respectable smite damage, in up to 3,000 basically, smite damage. And he's really a smiter through and through. I also use a very nice +2 Paladin Amulet with 8% increased chance of blocking so that I can bring my dex requirement even lower than it is before. And I just leveled up, so I am 1% off. But he is a monster powerhouse in terms of the low strength and low dex requirements. He's only 98 strength, and he could be lower if you use something different than a Kraken Shell. I just really like the way the Kraken Shell looks. And his dex requirement is only 51, which is pretty insane. The shield I chose was Herald of Zakarum, and the reason why I chose Herald of Zakarum is, again, for the plus to skills. It is a +4 combat skill shield, and in combination with the Astrions, we are looking at +8 between the shield and the weapon, which is insane. It all together, between the +8 coming from the shield and the weapon and all of the other plus to skills that I have on this character, I'm looking at +25 to skills, which is nuts. And that's why I have level 45 Fist of the Heavens, level 45 Holy Shield, and my Smite, even though I don't have it maxed, is level 35, which is, again, still insane. I'm using Goblin Toes over Gore Riders because I don't need the Deadly Strike. I have no intention of actually attacking anything ever, except for with Smite. And the Crushing Blow is superior. I end up charging everywhere because the character is rather slow. Ravenfrost, of course, for the dex and the Cannot Be Frozen. The 20 dex is crucial here because you want as minimal amount of dex put into, in hard points as possible. Verdungo's was chosen over anything else, really, just simply because it's a very strong, tanky piece of gear. But it also has 13 Replenished Life, which I felt would be very important for the Paladin, because he's a smiter. He doesn't lifesteal, he doesn't mana steal, and this became a problem within the build because, well, he just doesn't have any way to sustain himself. So I figured Replenished Life and a Replenished Life build could be very useful with this particular setup. The Stone Ring of Jordan is a alternative ring between this ring, which is also Replenished Life. So I actually kind of bounce back and forth between these two rings. This is a 9 Replenished Life ring, and this is the Course to Soj, which gives me more mana, but another plus to skill, which is very nice. Of course, I have to use Drax because as a smiter, as I said before, I have no way to replenish my life other than life tap. So Drax becomes a necessity. As for skillers, of course, I have a +1 combat with 7 life, a 7% run walk, a +1 combat with 5 dex, and a couple planes, which I definitely could see some improvement here. I have a very nice torch of 1920, and I have a 1720 Annie with 6% lifesteal, and some various resistances here to counter out my resists and get them all maxed out. On my swap, I have a Lawbringer, specifically for helping me killing those physical immunes. So on the rare occasion that I come across a stone skin, non-demon, non-undead that I can't kill because he is, of course, immune to physical, I will put my Bone Break Charm in my inventory, and I will also utilize that to my advantage. In fact, I usually have the Bone Break in my cube ready to go, but I had the G-Face in there because we recently did the Ubers. At this point, I think it's probably a good idea to show you some, clips of this character in action. So yesterday, I did actually have an Uber walk, and I killed Uber Diablo in some record-breaking time. In fact, I'm going to count it out while the video is playing, and we're going to see.
Get him!
Watch me get like the worst.
The sky went dark.
The worst life
What's that
tap proc,
mean?
and it just never happens.
All right, he's somewhere in Tristram. Let's find out.
Okay, I didn't like actually time it, but I'm pretty sure that was like 12 seconds. So I did actually time it, and it was 10 seconds. Uber Diablo was dead in approximately 10 seconds. Absolutely nice. I also have another clip for you here. This is a clip of us doing Uber Tristram, same day. And we did have kind of like an OP group, but this was P6, and we had a lot of fun in Uber Tristram. All right, who's got the highest level of fanaticism?
Maybe. Run Salvation.
I'm at 27.
I got 33, sir.
Oh, well then you do. Alright, so we'll have Leroy do the Jenkins thing and pull Mephi for us. He's never done it before, so I showed him how to do it. You remember how to do it?
Yep, to the wood.
Yep.
And then I gotta come to the house, and then
yep, you remember. There he is.
Mm-hmm.
So just make sure he's close to you. There he is. Eat him. Easy. Vikiet, no, stay alive, Vikiet. He needs some cleansing in his life.
We're going down here to do it, or
no, we're going to the right. This is the best way. So you come up here, you come around to the right, and you wait here in this corner. All right, I'm running cleansing, so all right.
Don't go into the house.
Nope. You remember, go down to the dock, push up to the wall. He'll spawn on you or he'll spawn on us because we do have an assassin in the room.
Bale's over there.
He teleported on top of my head. You look rude.
Wow. Yep. So now we fight Bale solo. There we go, and now we just YOLO Diablo.
I don't keep running in the damn door.
Easy peasy. Done. Grab your standard, man.
Blew him away.
That's
He
fine,
got
too.
bloated away. So as you can see, absolutely amazing killing capacity with, well, some pretty frickin' ridiculous P6. Was it P6 Uber Tristram? Now, granted, we were in there with some other Uber Smiters, but we held our own just fine. And that's really not the end of what this character is capable of, because okay, I made a smiter, whoopity-doo, right? But he's not just a smiter. He's capable of doing more than just smiting. The way that I have him built is he is capable of not only smiting, he is capable of basically carrying himself through the game. So when you're out here in, the frickin' river of flame, and you're fighting, all these, like, demons and undead monsters, you have the ability to, number one, take care of any strong monster, like obviously over Diablo would be considered a strong monster, by smiting them. And any group of monsters, like if you end up getting surrounded like this and you're absolutely just outnumbered, you would have to smite every single monster one by one. Well, guess what? You don't have to do that anymore, because you can just do this. And if that's not impressive enough, I mean, I don't really know what to tell you. This character is absolutely insane in terms of both single target damage and density clearing. Now, the one place that he does have trouble in is any place that obviously does not have demons or undead. But any place where there's just no demons and no undead, like for instance, let's say we went to Canyon of the Magi, which is full of non-demons and non-undead. This zone right here, you can still just smite everything to death. Like, it's not really that big of a deal. Like, you're not so ridiculously outnumbered or out, like, DPS'd that you can't just go in there and just start smiting everything to death. So in those rare situations where you do find yourself in a zone that is full of regular monsters, non-demon and non-undead, not monsters, you still have smite to fall back on. And it works surprisingly well with the way that I have it built up, because not only am I doing like nearly 3,000 smite damage per hit, I also have a very nice respectable level of crushing blow, open wounds, and just in general, like, he is a freaking powerhouse of a monster. Now, let's go over the mercenary and my design behind him, because I feel like that's also important to the build. Remember earlier when I said I was going with a regeneration build? Well, between the ring and the belt, I'm sitting at a very respectable 22 regen. So let me go ahead and put that on real quick. And when you look at my panel, I have Replenish Life 22. On my mercenary, I am running the Prayer Merc, who has a very nice heal of 29. He's also running a meditation polearm. Now, what this means is that he's applying a double regen to everyone within range, because the meditation and the prayer synergize, and the meditation obtains the regeneration from prayer. So I end up with a very, very nice 29 plus 29 plus 22, which is what, 58... 60, 70, so about plus 70 replenish life every second. Now, you might be asking, why the hell did I go with replenish life? Well, it just makes sense. My paladin has a lot of issues with life regeneration. Granted, when I'm wailing on something and that something has life tap on it, I can get really nice regeneration back. That is absolutely great. But what about when I'm not attacking a monster? What about when the monster's too far away for me to hit it? What about when life tap doesn't proc? I wanted to have a way for my life to regenerate at all times, no matter what. So that if I was in a place where a monster might be physically immune, or any other number of reasons why my life tap is not regenerating my life, that my life isn't constantly falling. So by having this massive 70 plus regen, I'm getting a really nice amount of sustain in dangerous situations. So like if I were to go to Frigid Highlands and just kind of let the monsters wail on me a little bit, you'll notice that yes, my life does go down, but it's also going up at the same time. So I am moderately sustaining my health in some way. And with the addition of an occasional potion, I can usually, in combination with the replenished life, maintain my life versus other monsters. Without that regeneration, I would be constantly falling. And unless I hit a target with my life tap to gain that bonus back, I wouldn't be able to sustain any life. Mana also, because of the meditation, it's making me sustain my mana pool like indefinitely, which is also very fun because it allows me to just charge around and do whatever I want to. I have basically infinite mana for charging thanks to the meditation, and so I'm just constantly charging around all over the place. And although he does get out of range every now and then, because, you know, obviously I can actually charge past him, which is because charge is so amazing like that. But once he catches up, my mana will start to regenerate pretty quickly, and I can continue charging wherever I want to. This is a great effect because not only do I need the mana for charging around, but I also need the mana for the occasional Fist of the Heavens that I pop out, because it does cost a pretty hefty 25 mana per cast, and so being able to cast it at will whenever I need to is exceptionally useful. And I cast it whenever I want to. I'll be in the middle of 1,000 monsters like this, smiting away, and then I will just boom and just wipe the floor with as many of them as I can. Now, Fist of the Heavens is not strong enough to kill single targets, and that's one of the biggest issues that I've had with Fist of the Heavens in the past, is that it just doesn't really do a good job at killing those single target monsters. On top of that, there's plenty of monsters in the game that, like I said earlier, are demons, not demons or undead. They're just regular monsters. And so again, Fist of the Heavens and both Holy Bolt kind of just slack off in that regard. So I didn't really want to build a Fist of the Heavens Paladin. I didn't want to focus on faster cast. I didn't want to focus on mana. I didn't want to focus on mana regeneration, although I did end up with a meditation polearm, despite my original idea. And the thing is that the Smiter is just extremely powerful on his own, and when supported by the Fist of the Heavens as an afterthought, it actually allows him to just kind of speed through the game with absolute ease. I mean, he's just running around, just throwing off the Fist of the Heavens whenever he needs to. And, like, say you're in a situation where there's a monster on the other side of a gap and you can't get to them, or like a ghoul or whatever is sitting in the middle of nowhere, you can actually use this pretty hefty, almost 8,000 damage a shot Holy Bolt to finish off some targets in the distance. In P8, he actually does pretty well as well, and I'd like to do a quick show off of his P8 prowess, which the only way I'm going to be able to do that is offline. So this is the character that I've created for the offline that you can download to get an idea of how my build works. And I'm going to make sure that I'm in P8, and we're going to go back into River of Flame, and we're going to play around with that. So there we go. We are in P8.
Not in town.
And God, he is slow in town. I should have put 1 point into Vigor just so I could run around town. We were joking in the stream the other day. We called them the town slippers. So here I am in P8. So let's go down here. Let's get ourselves surrounded real quick. And I'm going to make sure that I use my Fist of the Heavens correctly. So you always want to make sure you're going from the end and kill as many of the monsters as I can. Finish off the tougher birds that didn't die from the Fist of the Heavens. And as you can see, even in P8, it is a surprisingly quick kill on a huge group of monsters in the River of Flame, which is a level 85 zone. What is the... Actually, we can't do terror zones in offline, can we? That's sad. They need to fix that. I think that's pretty much everything. As far as my boy is concerned, I mean, I did choose an Andariel's Visage, a Insight Thresher, and he has a Chains of Honor on him. The one online is not an Eth Chains of Honor, by the way. It's just a regular Chains of Honor. I'm not that rich. The the goal here with him is just to make him pretty much unkillable. I don't need him to have Crushing Blow. I don't need him to have Open Wounds. I don't need him to have any of those crazy things because he's not there for that reason. I'm the Open Wounds. I'm the Crushing Blow. I'm the freaking boss killer. So I don't need him to be the boss killer. I just need him to stay alive and keep providing me with prayer. And as you saw in my clip earlier, he was able to even survive the Ubers, which was pretty impressive. I actually ran him through several Uber runs, including Uber Duriel, Lilith, and Uber Iswal, and he did not die once, which was very impressive. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, and be sure to check out my item pack because it will have my GGM Frostbite, which is my level 99 character, my Ice Maiden, and it will also have GGM North Star in there for you to play around. And if you haven't figured it out by now, the reason why he's called North Star is because he's the brightest star in the sky, just like North Star is the brightest star in the sky. And literally, I mean, what does he do? He shoots out freaking holy bolts. He literally shoots out fists to the heavens. He shoots out freaking casted holy bolts. Like, he's literally just shooting freaking glowing blue globes everywhere. So, of course, he's the freaking North Star because he's the brightest star in the sky. As always, thanks for watching, and keep watching.